Hi, my name is Francine Sanchez with Dyslexia Rockstars, and today I'm going to talk about 5 steps to focus on a student with dyslexia's strengths. Step number one, reframe the diagnosis. What does that mean? Okay, I want to take a moment to say that if you have dyslexia, nothing's wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. Truly, your brain just works in a way where reading and spelling needs to be taught differently. The timetable for learning to read and spell is a little different than most students. The positives of how your brain works is that there's some amazing strengths that 80% of people or more don't have. Okay? So studies show that individuals with dyslexia are better at complex pattern recognition, spatial knowledge, and big picture out-of-the-box thinking. So your creative way of seeing the world and being able to solve the world's problems uniquely sets you up to make a positive impact to really change the world. And in fact, individuals with dyslexia are more likely to be found in the fields of astrophysics, architecture, fashion design, and business because of these skills that you have. They actually did a study because there are so many astrophysicists with dyslexia, and that prompted the study to see why that was the case. Interesting, right? So many of the world's greatest inventors were suspected of having dyslexia also, or it's known that they have dyslexia. In step 5, we're going to talk about how you can use the assets of your diagnosis to change the world too. So we're reframing the diagnosis. We're going to take the emphasis off of the weakness and put it onto your strengths, okay? It's exciting stuff. Let's go on to step number 2. Step number 2, we're going to take the emphasis off of our weakness and put it on the school's weakness for a moment. So why do we consider that the way your brain works is a weakness or negative? We have a tendency to talk about diagnoses in general by someone's area of weakness. So for dyslexia, that might be reading, spelling, or directionality. We might say you have dyslexia because you have a weakness in reading, spelling, or directionality. But in this case, your diagnosis is really just a byproduct of our educational system's limitations. What do I mean by that? If you want to reframe it, it's not your weakness, it's the school's weakness. And despite the fact that research has shown us how to teach students with dyslexia, most teachers haven't learned or to assess students to find out which ones need it and which ones don't. So you're simply not being taught how you need to learn. If a student doesn't learn the traditional way, nothing is done until they're more than 2 grade levels behind. So that's a 3rd grader reading at below 1st grade reading level until the school does anything. So they don't teach you the way you need to learn until you're at a 3rd grade level reading at a kindergarten level. And then when you do get help, it's usually too little too late, right? It might be 1 or 2 times a week, still might not be research supported help, which is just wild. So instead of being taught to read and spell in kindergarten on a daily basis like your peers are, you need to wait until you're significantly behind all your peers, and then you finally get some teaching. Might not even be research supported. And then they're saying it's your fault. It's the weakness of the student, not the weakness of the school. Does that make sense? If the schools don't teach you how to learn, how you need to learn for years, and then you're behind, is that your fault? Or is that the school's fault? Up to 1 out of 5 students learn this way. And they have a similar timetable and they need similar methodology to learn how to read and spell. It's not fair. This isn't a problem with you. And people are working on it. Parents are working on it. Advocates are working on it. Lawyers are working on it. They're trying to change the system so this doesn't happen. But right now we know this happens. So I want to say, 1, Don't focus on the reading and spelling and directionality. Focus on the strengths of your diagnosis, which are pretty huge. And 2, realize these weaknesses are kind of created by the school not giving you the right kind of tutoring or methods to learn, not tutoring, but not teaching you the way that research shows you need to learn. So you didn't do anything wrong, and also you're not alone. 1 out of 5 students have the same problem. All right, so 1, reframe the diagnosis. 2, understand the school's weakness. Let's go on to number 3. Number 3, identify your genius. All right, you may have seen the famous quote circulating on Facebook by Albert Einstein. It goes like this: everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. The question I have for you at this point in your journey together, our journey together, is what is your genius? Okay, so let's go ahead and play around with those words a bit to make it fit our situation. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge not a fish, but a student with dyslexia on their ability to not climb a tree, but learn to read and spell the way the school is teaching it, he or she will live his whole life believing he or she is stupid. The question I have for you at this point in our journey together is, what is your genius? So the fish's genius might not be climbing a tree, but swimming in the water. What's your genius? I guarantee that you have 1, or 2, or 5, or 10. What are you amazing at? Other people may notice and mention it, may feel some pride in it. What are you passionate about? What do you love to do? Have a gift at? I want you to brainstorm, make a list, ask those who know you well to get some more ideas. You may not learn to read and spell the same way the school teaches, but you have a talent that you can do fantastic things with. And that's super exciting, really exciting. So what I want you to do is I want you to make this list. I want you maybe to even pause the video and write down a few things and then put it in the comments and share it with me. And then we'll go on to number 4, all right? So we're gonna focus on our strengths, not our weaknesses. We're gonna understand the school's part, and then we're gonna identify your specific genius. Identify your genius. So I know I said number 3 was fun, but number 4 is even more fun. Number 4, create a plan. What to do is to take this list of talents that you've hopefully made and make a plan with them. This plan should thrill you. It should make you feel alive. It should seem too good to be true. It should make a difference in the world. Now I know I'm talking big, and you may be a little confused, but I know you can do big things. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at this list of your talents and passions, and then I want you to use your gift at problem solving, at big picture thinking, at pattern recognition, to try to solve a problem that you care about. It could be a smaller problem that has to do with your school, your community, or it could be a worldwide problem. It's up to you, but something that you really care about. We know that your brain is made for solving problems. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how good you are at learning how to read and spell a certain way. You can change the world. And you can start right now, right now. Even if you mix up the and when reading, or B and D, which one is it? You can use your gifts to change the world. Okay, so go ahead, do some more brainstorming. Let's say you're passionate about animals. What can you do for the animals in your community? How can you use your gifts to problem solve and solve a problem? Tell me in the comments some of your ideas and what your plan is, okay? And then we're gonna go on to step 5. So just a quick review. Number 1, focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. Focus 2, understand the school's weaknesses. Number 3, identify your genius. Number 4, create a plan. And number 5, we're gonna implement the plan. Hey, quick note on step 4. You can also make a plan to do something. Like it could be to sell something, to write a book, to make a video game. The plan doesn't have to be to solve someone else's problem. It can also just be to create something really cool or to become like a black belt. It could be any different thing. Okay, on to step 5. Just need to put that in there. Number 5, step number 5, implement the plan. It's time to take action. This is really exciting. Okay, so we have a tendency to focus only on the reading spelling part when we do dyslexia tutoring and just leave out all the strengths altogether. This is where I recommend something entirely different. We need a team for this step. Could be parents, could be teachers, could be friends that get on board. You're gonna take your plan that you developed with your skills, passions, problem-solving ability, and you're gonna break it down into small, doable steps. With your team, you're gonna figure out, what do I need to do to put this plan into action to implement it? Now, for every single hour that you do dyslexia tutoring to work on the reading and spelling, I want you to do one of those things on your plan. I want you to move forward, do something to put it into action, and give yourself a timetable, give yourself deadlines, give yourself dates, and you're gonna create something amazing. It's really exciting. So you're gonna 1, reframe the diagnosis. 2, understand your school's weakness. 3, identify your genius. 4, create a plan. And 5, you're gonna implement the plan. Dyslexia Rockstars, you're going to change the world. So 5 steps to focusing on your strengths and also changing the world. Exciting. It's really exciting. I'd love for you to put in your comments what you're planning on doing, how you're planning on changing the world, what you've come up with. If you have any questions, please contact me. I'd love to hear from you and cheer you on in your journey. I'm planning on putting this on YouTube as my first video. Yay! I hope to make more videos. If you want to be notified of them, I'm pretty sure you need to either subscribe or there's like a bell that you press. So press the bell if you want to be tuned in on my future videos. Have a wonderful day. Bye.